Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your prayer chute and prepare for jump.
It's Mercury retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witecki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 1111. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement.
Soul Garden.
Namaste, and welcome to Soul Horoscopes Orbits Edition. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Ray Witecki, your astrologer and soul biographer, here to help you put the pieces of your soul story together. And before we dive into your horoscope, I just want to give some gratitude to all those who have donated to soulgarden.tv in the last week. Thank you so much. And for those people who have purchased readings as well. We are continuing the sale. It has helped our situation, and we are very grateful. Also, this is a special horoscope designed to cover the entire 10-day period of before and after the solar eclipse that's coming up, and I'll be talking about that. So this is a special soul horoscope designed to help you through this quantum intention time. So the sun is in sexy Scorpio. We are working on our intimacy, our boundaries, our transformation, and we're working on committing to infinity. That's how serious Scorpios take it. We're going to deal with our core boundaries, and a solar eclipse is going to give us a quantum shift on November 3rd. Now, the moon signs most affected from the eclipse on are Scorpio in the eclipse, then Sag, Capricorn's very affected, and Aquarius is at the end of the week. The moon signs most affected by this, of course, are going to be the Tauruses and Scorpios, Sag and Geminis, Capricorns and Cancers, and Aquarius and Leos. But the orange ones are the moon signs that might go into depression or the dark side based on the fact that it's the anti-sign right now. Now, looking at orbits, man, I want to point out what the solar eclipse is going to do to our chakras. You may not know this, but Scorpio actually rules two chakras, the back of the throat and the front of the solar plexus there. The orange chakra works with Taurus, and that's what gives Scorpio the ability to rule the number 0 and complete a boundary around the soul. So this particular eclipse is going to be a tug-of-war in some senses because of the Earth is going to be located in Taurus, and the sun and moon, of course, in Scorpio. So this really is the creation and death transit, and a very powerful one. And each of your horoscopes, I'll be talking about how you can have some quantum creation in this solar eclipse. Now, looking at the planets, the most compelling thing to me is this Yod, which is a big part of the build-up to the solar eclipse. It's basically God giving us the finger, sacred geometry here, pointing to Uranus to innovate our egos. So in your horoscopes, I'll be talking about how you want to channel these other two parts of yourself, the new boundaries and your aggression, into the evolution of your ego and the evolution of how you act or react in society. Now, this square is still also happening, and it's important for you to know that because the Yod is being affected by the square, which means part of the innovation deals with you have to innovate or revolutionize the rules you subscribe to. And then finally, this black Lilith Grand Trine really reaches its most apex important point. We've been having this trine for weeks. This is our emotional healing underneath the seams of what we're seeing on top of our realities. And ultimately, because of the solar eclipse hitting one corner of the trine, you're going to see this issue carry out in the rest of your life. And I'll be talking about that in the horoscopes as well. Another thing I want to point out, which is really groovy, is actually this. Venus is entering and now conjuncting the galactic center this week. This is where the sun had conjuncted for the Mayan shift, etc. So this means we're going to start sensing some real high cosmic vibrations coming down from the heavens. Another interesting thing here, this is the party, Mercury, Saturn, and the sun in Scorpio. But actually, this whole eclipse is happening in the constellation of Ophiuchus. You've probably heard before that there's a 13th constellation. Well, kind of not so much true. The truth is, this is Ophiuchus here, and this is the Scorpio constellation. But it's not that there's a 13th constellation. It's that they used in the sky one little marker to represent the whole box of Scorpio. And so some astronomers who don't understand astrology assume that because there's extra space there, that we can just fit another constellation there in our zodiac. But the truth is that Scorpio rules the whole quadrant. It's just that Scorpio, in a very hiding way, is hiding in the corner. And that's part of actually the mythology of Scorpio, is that the constellation is, of course, hiding in the Scorpio den, waiting for some victim to fall in there, right? Maybe Ophiuchus. All right, well, that's all I have for now. Let's take the ascension elevator up and see what's going on with you.
Folks, this is your captain speaking. We realize you have a choice in the astrologers you choose to fly with, and we'd just like to thank you for flying with Christopher Witecki.
Namaste, producers and Taurus risings, and welcome to 33,000 feet for a bird's eye view of you. Well, life is about to change pretty dramatically, my friend, and it is due to a solar eclipse that's going on here at the end of the week. It is a powerful punch, which we haven't had since your birthday period in May. This is a gigantic investment in your growth. So in the last 6 months, all of the growth that's happened in your life has basically happened from the solar eclipse in your sign. Now the solar eclipse is hitting your anti-sign. And this is allowing you to kind of make cuts based on the growth. So you're trimming your soul garden. You're trimming and cutting away. Now specifically what you're trimming are relationships. You're cutting away relationships that no longer serve your Taurus needs. And in Taurus's case, because Tauruses are in the game of manifestation, they're not good by nature of keeping things trimmed. In fact, if you don't build your manifestations with the right boundaries, they will overgrow in the wrong ways. So will your relationships. And this is how so many people end up feeding off the cattle of Taurus. It's due to the fact that Taurus allows themselves to wander into butcher shops and be eaten, right? So this is the time in Scorpio to profoundly actually change your mirage. In other words, it's not that people take advantage of you. It's that you let your cow wander into the wrong markets. You allow yourself to align with the wrong cattle, the other fellow cows. And it's that allowance of yourself that's the problem. More specifically, the problem is that you're having a hard time managing your emotions. At the time where you have no opportunity or to go with the wrong people, perhaps you chose the wrong people, instead of being there alone with yourself and telling yourself that it will be okay, it's better to be alone and in integrity than it is to be slaughtered. So this is the change with the solar eclipse now. Whereas last in May, it was about your potential at large. Now it's about where you are in your own way, where it's time to realign with your own mirage and become your own best friend. And then from that best friendship, begin to union with other people, but not until that best friendship or that mirage is solid. And that's what we're doing. So as we start off in the beginning of the week, or in the first week leading up to the solar eclipse, we're actually working on balance. That is how much we receive from the world and how much we give. And when we're out of balance, we get irritable. That's when the bull tends to charge. That's when the bull turns into a Scorpio and stings and stomps, is when the Taurus is way out of balance. Okay? So this is getting fair with yourself, which means that you will have to make changes in who you are aligned with and your long-term alliances. That's business, personal, romantic, everything. Even roommate situations, even situations with your alliances with banks, businesses, everything. Anything that does not represent the new fair mirage has to be changed, okay? And it will fall apart if you don't. Now in the state of Scorpio, we're going to move from making a decision about stepping away from certain partnerships, and by the end of the transit or this video, you will be on to new partnerships. Of course, in the background, you're working on a mirage, and in the background, you're questioning what a good partnership is anyways. You will be shopping and rethinking about what good partnership and alliance is until November 11th, when Mercury goes direct. That's when you'll have a rough idea. We'll talk more about that, and I'll bring that up more in the Serious Joy Toy at the end too. In the state of Cancer, which is the state of your thoughts, the universe is not going to push you to think different any further. So as far as your formal development as a messenger, your formal development as anything that is stand up and in front of the world, that is on break, and now you're going to refine and get better at what you have already explored. Black Lilith, however, says that you have cleared away the karma of bad messenger, bad thinking, mind games, arguments, legal trouble. That karma is cleared away, okay? However, you're now going to be projecting into the future how you want things to go, and you need to do it karma-free. So, I don't know if you noticed on the slide, but Black Lilith will conjunct Jupiter on November 27th. And that means that if you're not karma-free by the 27th, you're going to manifest another wave of karma with mind games, legal trouble, etc. So be careful with that. Be cautious. So looking at the week prior to the eclipse, it's really all about Halloween. Between Halloween and Friday, you can decide where your mirage is going to be. In other words, what kind of person are you going to be for yourself, and therefore what are the consequences to others in the world now that you've decided to be someone new for yourself. And that is Thursday and Friday. In that time, the moon is in Libra, and so your lifestyle, how you work, what you do in your daily life, that's what's pushing you. Your daily life and how you live and work in your daily life, that's what's pushing you to make this decision of a new day and a new dawn with yourself. On Friday, you actually put it into motion and take action and make it happen. And you're probably doing lifestyle changes on Friday because the moon in Libra is insisting that. Saturday, you are loving and trusting that everything will go fine. Emotions shift from daily lifestyle details now to settling into your new mirage, the way you're going to marry yourself. And that's how the week ends before. Now, looking at the week of the solar eclipse, which is what this horoscope really is helping with, it begins on Sunday, but let's look at the slow-moving planets. Pluto is the part of your life that is new belief. So the old religion is dead. Unless you're living in total happiness, you don't know. And I'm talking to myself here because I'm a Taurus. So I'm talking to myself and saying, we just don't know. We have to remain open and see what happens and learn from our life. Neptune at 2 degrees says that when it comes to the world, what you need to be is very, very compassionate to yourself when you're out in the world, and also show mercy on yourself. In other words, don't hang yourself for past mistakes. Don't hang yourself in the world on any sort of hook or pedestal or anything that's judgmental. Just be very nice to yourself in the world. When it comes to inner faith, you're still learning, you're still tripping over your hooves, and it's still going to take some time. Remain super flexible on your connection to spirit. And then in the mirage and marriages, in partnerships and friendships, Saturn at 13 says fundamental, profound change and breaks this week in mirages and marriages. And on Tuesday, you will find that you see results pretty quickly. So that's the architecture. Mercury is retrograde at 10 degrees during the eclipse. That means that you are entering in a whole new mirage. That's the plateau, 10. All right? And then lastly, Jupiter at 20 degrees is where you've been pushed when it comes to limits of thinking and limits of how many details and stuff you can process in your head. And so you're not going to have to grow intellectually for a while. You're going to back up, retrograde, fill in the blanks. You're going to develop your other voices. If you're a writer like me, this would be where we probably develop our subplots and our sub-characters, and you fill in the script. And that's what's going to happen. So Jupiter does retrograde on Thursday, and you get a break for 6 months and fill it all in. All right? So on Lightcast Day, which is Sunday, it happens around 5 a.m. Pacific and 8:30 a.m. Eastern, East Coast, is when it apexes. And in that day, basically what you be is what comes. It's a big blast of integrity energy. And integrity energy means that anything out of integrity will fall apart. So you want to be in integrity. You want to be in integrity with yourself. You want to be in integrity with your alliances. And partnerships and relationships that have been out of integrity will fall apart 2 days prior to the eclipse to 1 week after. So if someone has been cheating, lying, something like that, this is going to root out the rats of the situation, which is a good thing. The negative is that, oh boy, you really were hoping that so-and-so wasn't stealing, or you really were hoping that this person was really there for you in their heart, but they're not, they're just in it for that. And so there's disappointments that happen, especially for Tauruses who want to grow everything into success and doesn't want anything. We don't want any of our fruits of our labors to die on the vine. So it's very difficult for us. That's the Scorpio, our opposites talent, and that's where they help us. So on Monday, you want to stay open to how the universe might deliver these packages. It is a total open universe. Anything new will come in a new way, will come looking a different way, will come different than you've seen it before. So you must not dismiss the stork with the baby. You must be careful. The stork might be wearing any costume. On Tuesday, something real happens. I'm predicting something real happens on Tuesday, and people have some sort of nuclear event where life really changes. We might have some profound international news Monday to Tuesday, given what I'm looking at, or even Wednesday with the light bulb. But between Monday and Tuesday, the moon is in Sag, so it becomes very private, very intimate, a lot of intimate changes on Tuesday with oneself. Wednesday, light bulbs going off about how life is now changing. Again, very intimate for Tauruses and Taurus risings, whatever these changes are. Then Thursday, belief structures changing, butterflies releasing, which means your anxiety is releasing and you are feeling a new you that is metamorphosized out of the cocoon of this week. And this is the peace arriving. On Friday, that peace is, there's a spiritual element added to it. And so Friday is really about, okay, trying to think about, now that you are in alignment with your mirage, who is going to remain in your marriages and alignments there? Who you want to stay on the same path with? And really it's not till Saturday when the moon moves into Aquarius, which makes Tauruses and Taurus risings feel very career-oriented on Saturday, feel very future-oriented on Saturday. And in that career future feeling, you actually make the decision then about who you want to align with for the next year and who you don't. So that's really the week right there. So even though it's all about relationship changes through the week, you're really not committing to a general direction until Saturday. And even then, we have another week of processing. So that's to give you a timeline, Bull. So flying down, we're going to parachute, grab your parachute as I like to say, and we will jump to the bottom. And when we get to the bottom in the Witeki Theater, I have a serious joy toy designed for bulls right after this, so have fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your parachute and prepare for jump.
It's Mercury retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witeki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 11/11. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement.
Hello, producers. Welcome now to Witeki Theater, my little spiritual manifestation den. And speaking of manifestation, you are welcome to come down to the SG Manifestation Temple and post what you are manifesting. This is a group light cast intention, so come bless our blessings and we'll bless yours. And that's at soulgarden.tv. So your Series Joy toy is a toy designed to help you play into your work and play into your life. And it's a two-part one. First of all, it's time to finalize your divorce with all old classmates. So in your Series Joy, you are going to be saying goodbye to certain classmates. And I say classmates because any relationship that doesn't last was purely and mostly a lesson. And so we respect them as classmates and we say, hey, we'll see you again maybe another semester. And that's the truth. No matter how far you try to get away on Earth, you're going to reincarnate and come back anyways. And then the second part is, on Lightcast Day, it's time to get engaged in your mirage now. okay? So that means you can go get a ring, you can go write your vows. I'm going to, and I'm going to make myself some promises this year that I intend to keep for my life. And I've been working to this list. So this is your marriage vows. And on Light Cast Day, if I were you, I would say your vows to yourself in the mirror, what you promise, and put on that ring. And that is it. We are manifesting from that potential forward. So my fellow producers, I'm so grateful to be manifesting with you. I will see you in 7 days with more. Thanks as always, and live, love, be.
SoulGarden.tv.
Live, love, be was my phrase, man. I told him when I was in prison.
In prison?
Well, the fucking establishment, man. The state of California, it's all Nixon run, man. I was in for 25 years.
For medicinal marijuana?
It wasn't medicinal back then, man. They considered it a crime. Welcome to the establishment, kids. For my sacrifice, you can now smoke it up anytime you want. I did the time. You can do the crime.
Thank